Welcome back to the broadcast. This is KTN Prime. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, today is the day that governors had agreed to suspend some services, citing lack of finances. It was also the day the senators finally ended the stalemate on the third basis formula for sharing revenue among the devolved units. Let's find out what the feeling is among the governors. Let's now bring in Turkana Governor and former Chairman of the Council of Governors, Josphat Nanok, joining us live from the county of Turkana. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for joining us tonight. Now, your county, Turkana, was initially set to lose some money. With this new formula now, it is set to gain some 2.1 billion shillings. What is your take on the new formula?
Yeah, thank you, Ben Kitili. I think you realize that we are at the crisis of revenue sharing in the country, and there was a pull and push. Parts of the country and counties demanding a more increased share, the other part also demanding a more increased share. But finally, we've got a consensus formula that Senate has provided now, and I thank the Senate and the National Executive for basically ensuring that every county gains. First of all, during this current financial year, maintaining the allocations as they were last year, and then incrementally increasing them from next year with an additional funds, which basically is ensuring that the least gaining county, which is the Rakanithi, gets 289. Gets an additional 289.6 million, and the county with the highest, Nairobi, 3.3 billion. And to us, I think this is a success, and we hope that the assent into law of this bill will be done in the quickest way possible, so that by early next week, resources start flowing and service delivery resumes in all the 47 counties.
All right, so you're happy with the new formula. How much damage had been done in the counties?
You know, we've lost a quarter, which is 30% quarter, which is 3 months of the financial year. So basically, service delivery has been affected. Quite a number of counties have had to do without drugs, have had to do with a lot of other service delivery, and that's why the Council of Governors, the governors through the Council of Governors had to put pressure to the Senate, but also to the National Executive, so that we either move to approve and agree on the dispute that was there on sharing revenue, but also on the implementation of what the law allows of 50% on the old CARA, 50% allocation to counties, which also became a very big dispute, and it became a ping-pong game between the Senate, the National Assembly, and the National Treasury, and the Attorney General's office.
From where you sit as a governor, I'm sure you followed this better than most of us. Why did it take so long for the Senate to finally agree, in your opinion?
I think you have to realize, Ben, that sharing revenue is not an easy thing. And that is why the Constitution envisaged such a scenario and created mechanisms of temporarily of how counties can be able to continue with certain resources as this is resolved. You have to remember that the House is represented by the 47 delegations, and each county delegation is demanding a much bigger share from the cake. And particularly now that we are only sharing 10% of the total country cake.
Right.
So you won't expect that decision to be done within a very short time frame. And this happens every 2 years when we have to look at this formula. But then the Constitution allows certain provisos of ensuring that we have continuity by saying that 50% of the old CARA can still be allocated by the National Treasury at the control of budget so that counties can continue. And last year, when we had a dispute again with the National Executive over the division of revenue that divides revenue between the national government and the counties, the Supreme Court advisory was so clear that counties have the okay to draw from these resources. But
right.
we've seen a lot of confusion between those who are supposed to be implementing, reinterpreting the Supreme Court ruling, which is completely dangerous. But I think it's a matter that we need to relook again now that we are out of the woods, but yet we are not out yet. I think this clarity needs to be put in place moving forward.
All right. Towards the end of this stalemate, we saw some ugly turns, an ugly turn of events where there was almost a standoff between yourselves, the governors, and the Senate. Even the senators, very, very angry at you at the floor of the House, almost threatening the governors. Would you say that we have a solution long term?
Ben, you remember very well the dialogue and consultations over this new shareable revenue that was being prepared by CRA began way back in 2018. And at the end of 2018, when they were consulting the Council of Governors, when I was still the chair at that time, I told the chair then that this shareable revenue, the formula you've developed, need to be looked at because it is going to be politically unpalatable. And of course, that is what it turned to be. And of course, when you're putting pressure on an institution for failing to reach a conclusion, then you will expect bad unprintable words to be thrown from this end to the other end. But eventually, the outcome is what we expected. We expected a consensus. We expected every county not to lose resources. And I believe beyond today, we will get back and reconcile with the Senate because they still represent our interests. We expect them to be the ones who speak on behalf of the counties. When the national executive fails to provide resources or whatever other support to counties, then the Senate should be in the first line to try and push for that, and which wasn't coming out very clearly previously. But I believe from tomorrow, I think we will need an engagement that is going to bring us together so that we can forget about the past and focus on the future, because what is utmost to all of us is service delivery to the local people and making sure that all levels of government are functioning.
Before I let you go, Mr. Governor, today there was a call by the Council of Governors to halt services, to put pressure on the Senate to resolve this deadlock. Was the county of Turkana, did the county of Turkana heed this call?
You have to realize that such a close of government, I think we took a decision in the Council of Governors to close operations and partial operations. But you have to realize this is an incremental activity because all counties were different levels of consultation. Those who had done the consultations before, because a county government is both the county assembly and the executive. So those consultations might be there so that one decision is made. And quite a number of counties had, this being the first day,
yes,
about 4 counties had closed down. And by tomorrow, if this impasse had continued, many more counties will have joined, and probably within a week or 2 weeks, all counties will have shut down. So that was an incremental process. It had a beginning, and it also had an ending. But I believe that we have not stretched this far.
All right.
The solution that was intended has been achieved, and we hope that once His Excellency the President assents to the bill into law tomorrow, then we have a CARA, and now we can be able to, and then the control of budget and the National Treasury can be able to release resources with speed by Monday, so that service delivery can be able to resume.
All right. Final question. How important would you say the President's intervention was in ending the stalemate?
Ben, it came in too late. That intervention should have been much earlier when the crisis was emerging and when we realized that the Senate was not moving that fast, because the law has established intergovernmental organs, including the summit, including the Budget and Economic Forum, and these 2 intergovernmental organs were never utilized effectively.
All right.
We only saw a consultation between the leadership of the various government organs that are key to this issue at the very tail end. I hope that in future, we can be able to have these consultations much earlier so that we don't enter into a crisis like this. Second, and finally, is that the parliament, both houses, must now make clarity on the law. on this issue about the 50% disbursement.
Right.
When the CARA is not assented to, when the CARA is not approved, so that we ensure continuity of service delivery on operations. I think we owe it to the Kenyan people.
Thank you.
To make sure that at no time should we not deliver service to them.
Thank you, sir, for talking to us tonight. Josphat Nanok, Governor, the County of Turkana, former chairman of the Council of Governors, giving us a feel of